Hello there. So the reading that we're doing today is going to be 4 options, and it's going to be a look at your energy, so like where you're at right now, what's going on right now, how you're handling it, and advice from spirit. Okay? So you want to take a deep breath and use your own intuition to decide if one of these choices has a message for you. You can choose more than one if you're inclined to do so, and it's going to be pick 1, pick 2, pick 3, and pick 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to start with pick 1. These just represent different decks that I have. I'm not necessarily going to use these decks. This deck, though, that you chose is actually timing. It's a timing deck. So I hadn't considered using anything from this deck, but just because it's the one you chose, I thought I would at least pull something out of it. I squeak. 29, 22, and 20. These might be significant numbers to you. Okay. Alright, pick one. So what we're going to do first is actually I'm going to be using this board. I'm just going to pause you while I shuffle the cards a bit. Okay, pick one. Assuming that the recording is resumed. Yes, I think it is. Okay, so we're gonna do Alright, here I am going to tell you about you. I know you can't see the whole board, so just listen. You may be a vegetarian or in the process of changing your diet due to just a want to fuel yourself in a healthy manner. And maybe you've been already seeing the results of a changed diet. I think that you are on a path of where you're committed to doing your own healing of your emotional body, which has been what's the word? Which has been one after the other consecutively bringing to your awareness things for your love and acceptance. There's maybe some outside factor that is keeping you from being able to exercise, or there may be people around you who aren't very active or something like that. There's some sort of block to exercise, okay? And it's annoying, and it's outside of you. So that's interesting. You may have just had a birthday or just celebrating like a rebirth, a new way of feeling and being, kind of feeling all freshed up, glowing. You're setting out on a new business venture and feeling rather confident about it. And I feel like whatever changes you've been going through, you know that it's leading you to something that you want. Maybe that's the motivation for doing so. You're saying nice things to yourself. You're reminding yourself of the bigger picture and reassuring yourself as needed. Maybe there's been some change to your home life. You've either moved or someone has moved in and out of your house, in or out. Or maybe you've been thinking about moving. You're kind of going with the flow of things. When things don't go the way you expect, you're just very easy about it. And you're understanding that it's not always going to look the way you want it to look. And that doesn't mean it's not perfect, as it is. I think that you're getting guidance from Spirit. And you're getting messages that resonate with you, that feel like truth to you. And whatever it is you're doing, you're not afraid to put in hard work to follow through and accomplish something. Even if it takes a long time, a lot of steps, and is very difficult. You may feel a little bit inhibited on how you express yourself. There may be certain insecurities within yourself which you recognize and know about, or are admitting to yourself now as I talked about them, and they're resonating as the truth. But these parts of yourself just are probably just waiting in line to get some of that love that you've been giving out to the parts of yourself that needed it. And so I believe that you're working your way out of any inhibitions for self-expression. You're in the process of doing that. You're taking it real easy, being real good to yourself. Wow, very nice. Okay, the next thing I want to do is get what's going on with you. So if that part of the reading resonated as true for you, pile 1, then let's go on. If not, you may want to look at another pile. Okay, so you are gaining wisdom. You've gained a lot of wisdom through what you've already integrated and understood in yourself and your experience. You've cleared many timelines that you came in to clear. You came in to experience certain things, and you've been clearing them by finding the truth. And as you find the truth, you find a new way to feel about something, and you move through it. And this gains you the wisdom. You're turning your pain into wisdom. You are a healer, and you have maybe been healing abusive patterns on Earth. You are a strong, constant, steady energy, like really Taurus energy or Earth energy, some Virgo maybe. There's things that you've had to cut out of your life just to stay with your integrity. Things that were out of your integrity, you've had to cut them out. None of this is wrong from the bigger picture view. There is a passion burning you from the soul level. Burning, like driving you, I mean, not hurting you, like rallying you. It's something that won't go out. You're very powerful and high-minded, willing to look at the big picture of things and creating new timelines, creating new possibilities for others in what you do. And there are some things where you've gone in thinking you'd get one thing out of the situation, but realizing the risk was much greater towards other things. It's like then you were forced to maybe look under the surface of why you wanted to do that thing. What drove you there? What was in the subconscious that you were trying to accommodate that would drive you to be put at such risk? And then it's just also acknowledging that there were soul family members to help you play this scenario out so that you could see yourself and see your subconscious programming playing out before you. In your day-to-day life. And now you've been illuminated on something. It's something you can't unsee, and it's changing the way you show yourself in the world, and maybe causing you to get really serious about how you treat your urges and what kind of rituals you let yourself participate in. Okay. And I wanted to ask Spirit, like, what are you doing to deal with all this? What is pick one doing to deal with this? You are getting the reflection of yourself off other people. And you're looking around you and adjusting yourself by what you see. You're comparing to other people to know your own truth. Okay. I'm sure there may be more that you're doing there for yourself. Let's get something from this deck. What is pick one already doing for themselves in this situation? The beneficial thing that pick one is doing for themselves in this situation. You are really taking your time to appreciate the beauty inside and around you. Yeah. You're being in grace. You're being receptive. You're being in the feminine energy. You're being easy about things. You're being tried and true. Okay. And now we're just going to get you some advice from Spirit. And we might actually look further into the Damocles, soul family, and this. So you've gone into a new timeline, so I think it's important to leave behind the risk and the abusiveness and the grudges that you may hold against family members or soul family members that had to play certain parts for you in order to see these things for alchemy. If you had known the risks, maybe you wouldn't have walked into the experience, and then you wouldn't have known what you know now. So saving ourselves pain isn't always the goal when we're trying to learn on Earth School. Okay? It's tough to hear, but that is the message that I'm getting from that. Okay, Spirit's advice that it can be both things, that contradiction or duality exists here. It can be both things, you know. It can be that you were hurt by this situation and also that you needed this situation. You can be repelled by something that you are, and you can love something that you are. And what's true for you might not be true for somebody else. And this advice, Sirius, is unconditional love. It's finding the love for yourself in the situation and leaning into the discomfort. It's really kind of saying you're guided, we're with you right now, because we know that you have to lean into some really, really, really uncomfortable feelings, things that need to be processed, and apply your ability to unconditionally love to them. And in loving these things, they will dissipate. But you can't do it for that reason, okay? This is difficult. It's difficult to balance this, but that's why you've been kind of trained up to this point. You take your time and things. You're taking it easy. You're easing into, so that you can go through this in a more balanced way. and not be kind of thrown into the sea of chaos with each discomfort that comes, that you look for the opposite in, to balance out the energy of. Okay, I hope that makes sense for you. 2 more advices is faith and 11th house. So your friends, your hopes, your dreams are all important to play into this, but having faith, really, that this is happening for you, even if it is uncomfortable, even if it is something that you don't ever want to have to go through again. Okay? So they're really saying, like, yes, it is uncomfortable. What you're doing is difficult, and you have been preparing for it, and we're with you. And lean on your friends if you need to. Okay? Okay. Yeah, what you're doing is finding your way to be able to express your individuality unencumbered. Yeah. So that's why you've been able to spend some time appreciating beauty, because you have to be in the place where you can appreciate it so that you can see it in yourself too. Okay? Alright, pick one. I hope that's helpful for you. Very interesting reading. I thank you for spending your time with me. And I look forward to seeing you next time. I picked 2. You chose this deck. This is going to be your reading. So I've shuffled the cards. And first we're going to take a look at where you are at currently. Okay? So you won't be able to see the whole board, but you'll just want to listen in. Just take what resonates and leave the rest. Okay? You are starting a new career, or have just had a promotion in your career. You're having positive success in the career front. It's making you feel very safe and secure. I wanted to say in your marriage you're able to be your unique self, but it may just be that you've committed to being your unique self. You've committed yourself to yourself and being in the equation. And you are taking the time to figure out what that means in accordance to relating to others outside of you. You know, different people will act or respond differently to that in you. And you're just going through practicing being in the equation and being your true authentic self in the face of many different types of people. One after the other, getting really good at being authentic in the face of whatever. Very strong. You may have a son. This would indicate that your son is very close to your heart, that you do a lot for your son, that your son has a lot of confidence, or you have a lot of confidence in your son, or that as a son you were treated that way. Maybe the birth of confidence has been something new in you. Maybe you have felt on the precipice of bringing something new or new life into the world. You've maybe been working on a project with everything you've been learning. Or actually you may even be giving birth to a son at some point very soon. Maybe the summertime was a very prosperous time for you, or is. Just something that you do where you get to express yourself more in the summertime. and maybe be with children more in the summertime. And maybe that's a new routine that you'll be giving birth to. But you're leaving something behind that was like perfectly imperfect. Like it was good for the time you had it, but now you've realized it's time to say goodbye. There's something new for you. I think it's in a routine. I think it's the way that you are operating on a day-to-day basis. But you have so much encouragement to be yourself. I think the reason why you're doing this, practicing being your own authentic self in the face of many others, is because Spirit's right here whispering to you reminders and reassurance that that's the right thing to do and be. That you've done a lot of the hard work already, and it's time to rest, it's time to play, it's time to be fun, it's time to be more childlike. And you may really feel like you need to focus on your business and keep your focus there. But in actuality, I think this reading is trying to say you are very solid in your career. You've got that foundation set there. So any insecurities that you have about your business are unfounded, and that your business will only prosper as you learn to love and be free and flow more easily. Wow. Okay, so if that sounds like you, pick 2. Let's see what is going on with you right now. We're going to use the Astrology Oracle. You like things that are, you like your home to be structured. You like things to be structured at home. Maybe you like having kids at home, even if it does cause you stress. You do feel divinely guided, like I think you know about your being guided. And in day-to-day life, there's some abusive aspect that is residual and causing you stress, and it may be with a son. And it's requiring boundaries and also faith, and your reputation may be affected. Whatever you're learning here is something that you may be known for. And then being in service is a part of it. Shining a light, shining your light. See, that's so important here. It's been really emphasized that you have to be you. It's you that is shining the light. Your situation, your commitment, your whatever you're doing. So commitments have been important to you. And you've just been unfolding a mystery and accepting what you find all along the way. And it's like you've been shown at this particular angle, which reveals the deceptions, so that you're able to alchemize the stress out of situations that are really, really, really dark, deep, heavy, and no longer needed here on Earth. Yeah, you're looking at a new way to be every day in life, a new routine, like a new template, if you will. Yeah. Okay. So that's quite an intricate balance of energy that you are what's the word, handling. Now we're going to look at and ask Spirit, what is pick 2 doing to handle this situation they are in? You're living your bliss. Yeah, you are letting things handle themselves, taking it much more easy. You are being of service. Yeah, what you have to give, you're giving. You're filling up your own cup in the meantime with play. Doing that with friends, being fun, being childlike, being curious, being innocent, being new, foolish, pioneering. And I think you're also like not afraid to ask for what you want. That you know that this is your purpose, that you're on a path of following your purpose. That you know that it's not always going to be easy, that part of your path has been to traverse some difficult things, and so you are a determined being because of what you have had to traverse, but you don't want to have to take things so difficulty anymore. So you're looking beyond immediate appearances to be discerning into where you should invest your time and your energy, and being in this space of being in the flow. It's very easy to notice when you're off track with that. So well done. Let's see what advice Spirit has for you from this custom advice oracle. Born from within, so really just taking it to that extra place where it's like you being you, expressing your individuality, and meaning whatever you're doing, it should be from that place. That things are going to continue to be mysterious. You're not going to have it all figured out. There's some illusion here. There's some disillusionment yet to be had. You want it to be part of this great mystery, and so embrace that part of it too. And 1111 is coming out, so that may be significant to you. Sometimes that signifies a twin flame journey. But if you're not familiar with that concept, then it can also just be codes of awakening. Wow, more 12th house energy with the Pisces coming out. So really be etheric. And look, a mystery card here. There's so much unknown here. So it's like you're discovering. It's like you're a pioneer discovering new places. And being willing to like do what it takes to see what it's like to interact there. As yourself. Not as someone who's trying to fit in there, but as yourself and your right to be yourself. Wow. Woo. That was beautiful and lovely, and it's like, it feels like you're taking this space, this void space, and like implanting yourself there and saying like, this is what it looks like from this angle, to look at all these things in the highest light. It's very pretty. Thank you for sharing that perspective with me just now. It's really nice. I like it. And I hope that you find this reading helpful. Sounds like you're doing some very interesting stuff. And I appreciate your time, and hope that we can see each other again. Bye now. Okay, pick 3. You chose this deck. This is going to be your reading. And I've just shuffled the cards. Let's see what the cards have to tell us about how you are doing right now. Okay? Just an overall general look. Oh, interesting. You may be a vegetarian or having just changed the way that you eat. Maybe you were attracted to another pile, because we also talked about that there. I know that you may not be able to see all the cards, so this is just a listen-in part. Okay? Yeah, really committed to a dietary change. So you may, You may or may not resonate with pile number 1. I haven't gone into this reading far enough to know, but that was just an interesting because it came up in the same spot there. But here it's more of a highlighted focus that you did a dietary change, you've been committed to it, and it is improving things for you. Maybe the summer is what prompted it. Maybe something happened in the summer where you decided that you didn't want to continue on the path that you were on. And now you have been taking efforts to be yourself. You have been doing what you want, including yourself in the equation, and having more confidence in yourself because of the changes that you've made and because of earning your trust with following through on what you've committed to. Yeah, your wishes are coming true, and it's because of you. You know they're coming true because you're working hard at them. And you're also putting yourself in the equation with other people, so you're able to ask for what you want. So you're not just trying to get it by some means of manipulation or coercion or hopefulness or transactional relating. You're actually just like asking for what you want straight up. And that's something new for you, I believe. Or it's changed everything for you. I think you're really able to talk positively to yourself and others. You're very kind in your inner dialogue, in your outer dialogue. Very connected with nature. You love being in nature. And you are getting some exercise, and that means, you know, in a way that's right for you. It's not necessarily somebody else's regimen. Again, this is all customized to you, being you and what you need, and listening to what your body wants to do. That maybe you've been researching spirituality and opening yourself up to more in that realm. You know there's more to know. Made some sort of commitment in the autumn. Something that you've wanted for a long time is coming together out of all this that you've done. These changes that you've made in this way of loving yourself. And maybe there's part of you that wants to just keep working, that thinks, oh, I should just keep working towards this. There's more to do. And actually that might be one little snafu with your subconscious, just maybe not letting you rest, or being stuck in the mode of rest, one or the other. Okay, now we're going to use the astrology oracle to ask what's going on with you. Okay, so if that resonated so far, let's go on to see. Fourth house, it's the house of home and your foundation. And this is a relationship with somebody else, and the step-by-step process that it's taking in order to come into the wisdom needed to traverse certain difficult patterns that are eroding a foundation with a relationship. There's a history in the relationship, so some patterns that have been playing out over and over and over again, perhaps in your relationship alone, perhaps on Earth in general. But they have to do with passion, and this is a turning point for them. You're turning them. You are you with this base of who you are, taking care of yourself, earning your own respect, open-minded, learning new things. You are, and able to stand in your truth. You're taking this history and taking the steps to alchemize and create a turning point for some sort of way of relating that was involving passion and out of balance. Yeah, this has to do with being compatible. Maybe you're looking at the ways people are compatible, whether or not they are compatible. You've got Jupiter here. Wow. Jupiter is a beneficial influence. Now it's coming here on the relationship and on the foundation. And then you've got drama. So the process, the step-by-step process of looking at this pattern felt very dramatic, felt very grief-ridden, felt very like too much, over the top. And maybe even all the steps that needed to be taken were too much. And it was because part of the way forward was kind of cut off until more could be seen about the issue. Like it had to be looked at from more angles so that it could truly be alchemized from all the angles that exist. Like say you alchemize it and come up to the top of looking at it, but there's still something back in there that no one's ever going to go and clean up. But so while you were down there, you went and looked at that angle too. What would happen if that happened? Oh, that needs to be cleaned up too. What would happen if that happened? Oh, that needs to be cleaned up too. Kind of thing. Maybe you're very adventurous, so you took this on like you would any adventure. Feelings have been a part of this. Like definitely how you feel has been. There's some sort of nurturing, loving, nostalgic, family kind of energy here, and clearing it. So I feel like it's an ancestral pattern that needed to be cleared, and it was a karmic thing, and someone needed to commit to doing it. And you are the type of person who can commit to things. Yeah, isn't that interesting? And maybe not in I heard maybe not in relationships, but to yourself. You could say something about what you were going to do for yourself and then not come out of it. Oh, look, loop. Yeah. So there's like a lot coming in here, and I'm kind of jumbled on what the most important thing is to say. So I'm just going to kind of gloss over that and see if I need to come back to it for a minute. But we've got new timeline here. So you're creating a new possibility where there wasn't one before, and it'll be seen publicly. And it's cleaning up old karmic loops that have gone on Earth, and your soul came prepared to do it. Okay, so maybe these are patterns that your soul specifically did create, participate in, or experience in previous lifetimes. Okay, so now we're going to look at pick 3. Spirit, tell me how pick 3 is coping with this situation. Live your bliss. So yeah, you've got yourself in the equation. You're following your flow state. You're doing the things that make you happy. Being yourself, expressing yourself, taking yourself into consideration. And just by virtue of being yourself and doing what you needed to do for yourself, you've inspired others. And you've left this as something like that you have a choice to do, even though you kind of don't. Like, I feel like you have maybe noticed that when you do this work, then you become faced with more choices, and that's freedom to you, and that's blissful to you. That feeling of freeing yourself creates that feeling of bliss and joy. And maybe it's that you know that you're taking responsibility. Your ability to respond has been taken back into you. Okay. And you are very adaptable and innovative. As things change, you change. And as you see things from a different angle, you're willing to look at the totality of what you're being shown. Alright, so now we're going to ask Spirit for some advice for pick 3. So advice for pick 3, please, Spirit, from the Custom Advice Oracle. Just keep getting too many fall out, so I'm just going to keep shuffling here a moment. Alright, angels, wow. Alright, their advice is to know that you are guided. You are being, this research you're doing, you're being guided into, things that they want you to know, things that you need to know, things that are going to help you assess things. Look for the places where you've been victimized or are victimizing others. Look at your skills. What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? These ways of feeling like a victim can be hidden in our own programming, So while you're doing so well, sometimes it's easy to let some of those things slip by because you feel good at the moment, right? You feel good, and it's fine to tell that story. It doesn't appear to be limiting you, but in this case, they're saying there might be some hidden ways where you are still feeling victimized. And for myself, it reminds me of I made a post this morning about just realizing that still using the terminology like that my relating patterns had been dysfunctional, when actually they created me, who I am, the resilient, strong, brave being who has what it takes to get what I need to do done. They created me, so like it wasn't really dysfunctional, and isn't calling that thing dysfunctional a way of victimizing myself to it? And do I really need to do that anymore? And I'm not saying that there isn't a time where we do need to own being victimized. And so if you're at a different stage of healing, there will be a need to acknowledge that you've been victimized and feel victimized and let yourself be angry and feel like you want to retaliate or all the things. As long as you're not acting on those things, it's healthy to process and allow and love the part of you that feels all the ways that you feel in response to being victimized. So take that how it makes sense for you and how it resonates for you from whichever angle, okay? Hold on one moment, I gotta sneeze. Okay. I'm just gonna get one more card from this deck of advice. Yeah. Remember your strength. You've gotten through everything up till now, and you have more strength than you know. I mean, you got your wish is granted. Like that, I mean, lots of good things are happening for you right now. Okay, so yes, pay attention to your wounding patterns is the advice. Pay attention to the wounding patterns and apply your skills and strength to them as they come into your awareness. Okay, so they just don't want you to bypass while you're doing so great. They just don't want you to bypass anything else that comes up, and also not forget that like some things might come up, and it's okay because you deal with them. You do what you do to deal with them. Alchemize the energy, and then you come right back to the enjoyment of life. It's like it's become second nature, like breathing, to process the history and then move through and on. Okay? Well, I hope that's helpful to you. And if you need any help with like, moving through these things, that's actually what I do with my spiritual conversations. So I enjoy doing it. I'm really good at it. And don't hesitate to reach out if you do need some help. The information's all on my website. Okay. Thank you for spending your time with me, though. And I will look forward to connecting with you again in the future. Hi, Pick 4. So if you chose this deck, this is going to be your reading. I've already shuffled the cards. And here we go. Okay, so the first part of the reading is meant to tell you a bit about you. So if that resonates, then we go on to the rest of the reading. We'll see what's going on with you and get some advice from Spirit. So you may currently be traveling or planning a trip upcoming. And if you are traveling, it seems like it's a very beneficial thing for you. You may be committed to expressing yourself, your individuality. And that's very interesting because that tied into another pile. Think that you are a very patient person, very patient with the people around you, and even when they're very annoying and very difficult. I think that you may be very caring about the way that you eat, and you may be a gardener, and you may really enjoy eating vegetables. You may be a vegetarian. You may have recently changed the way you eat. And you also are in the process and like, you are someone who lets go of whatever is like something you can't control. Like, you have the confidence to go after what you can control and change what you can change, but you also know the value of surrender to those things you cannot control. Maybe you are in the process of going through a rebirth this winter, or letting go of things in particular this winter, this season. I think that you like to know things. You are very like curious, that you will do research. You might read books. You assert yourself in a loving manner. And I really think people might even mistake you for having rose-colored glasses on, but I think it's not that. I think you really just know the value in taking things as they are, surrendering when you can't change things anyhow. There is a divinely inspired idea for your business that you may have been working on. Something that you are doing with a spiritual business, or spiritual aspects influencing your business. But you've really been able to stand strong in who you are, expressing who you are in all areas of life. In business ventures, in trying times, in places where you were required to improve the way you care for yourself. In foreign lands, talking with strangers, doing things that you had never done before. I think that there may be some sort of low level of angst inside your subconscious that is driving you to let things unravel more, to be more and more kind, to let this world be the more loving place that you need it to be, to let yourself heal. Wow. Okay. So powerful. If that resonates for you, we're going to go on to ask the astrology oracle, what's going on with you right now? Okay. So I don't know if it's going to touch on emotional healing in particular or something else. Let's see. Yeah, you may feel like you're cut off from something that you feel very passionate for and about, and it's been for like a year. And maybe now the pressure's really on, like now it's like the timing, it's like down to the, it's like now's the time. Now's the time. I just keep feeling like, do it now or you'll miss the time. You got to end the cycle. There's some cycle of chaos and discord that keeps happening. You get tantalized into it and then cut off from something else. It's a relationship. It is a relationship, okay? You have the growth mindset and being in the flow, okay? So those are the important things that we already established about you. And yet, in the case of this relationship, you've been letting something tantalize you, and instead of being sent with the upper ideas of the flow. Does that make sense? It's like, go into this relationship with the truth, which is coming from when you're in the flow state, not from the old ways, which are more tantalizing and more through chaos and discord, and you actually haven't been successful in going through because they've been cut off from you, because in actuality your whole design was set up to bring it to a higher level before it could come together. Like the lower density patterns that had been lived out tried to live out in this relationship too, and so you were kept being tantalized into old patterns. But the purpose of that was so that you could heal, so you could scrape those things off, and so you could see the ways that it wasn't helping, working right, you know? And I feel like you probably learned a lot, and it could never come to fruition because it wasn't meant to. It was meant to be this learning process, but now it's like opened up to be available only through the upper realm, only through growth mindset, flow, and truth, and wisdom. So all the wisdom gained from everything that, like, you know what you do want by knowing what you don't want, kind of thing. All the wisdom gained now has to be utilized for going forward in this situation. There'll still be slight tensions. Those will still have to be dealt with as they come up. Look, we got reconciliation. Yeah, totally. This is so cool. I could feel that. This relationship with somebody else had not come together in the right way because it was meant for learning. You've learned what you needed to learn. It's time to cut off the pattern, and I'm talking about time because it is time. Look, we got 14 days. Yeah, like crunch time or something like that, right? And there's reconciliation. But look, we got Damocles. So I feel like what it's saying is you don't know the risk. If you keep going at it from the angle where you had been going at it, there's a big risk of getting cut off completely, because that is no longer going to be the timeline that this relationship will be available on. This relationship is going on a higher timeline. If you stay on this timeline of old chaos and discord, and things that weren't working and that were driven by passion, maybe, that is going to cut off completely. Whoa, this is so weird that it's just channeling this way. So I kind of feel like I know why this is channeling through me this way, and it sounds very specific, and I think it is a specific situation for somebody specific to maybe understand a bigger picture view of something. But I can't be sure, and I will look at it again later. So just take what resonates as true for you. But I just felt really strongly about that, how that worked. That's very interesting. Okay. Wow. The next thing I would do is, look, you got divinely guided and solar return. Solar return is a birthday. It's being reborn. So this is being reborn under divine guidance with the growth mindset and all the things that you've been learning about patience, about being who you are, about being willing to go the distance and travel and learn new things and change your diet and heal and heal and heal and heal and be in nature and let go of what you can't change, and like let nature heal you, let your guides and angels, you know, shower in on you all the wisdom from all those other lifetimes where you've already learned these lessons and more. Okay, you're just being reminded, and you already know that you came here to do this. That's what I feel. Okay, so what you're doing is seeding a new relationship template. And I have often said that I'm doing the same thing here, so that's interesting. Okay. What does Spirit say you're already doing about this situation? Spirit says that you never judge another. Okay, so Spirit says that you're very understanding, caring, kind person who is not taking your bullshit out on others. That's great. Love is your energy. So you're being love. And worry is a wasted emotion. Yeah, you're letting things go instead of worrying about them because you know that there's no point. Worry is a prayer that for something you don't want. And you're being in the energy of love because love is what you want, love is what you are. So in order to attract love that is worthy of you, you need to be that love. You are letting go of your judgments. Yeah, look at this. So many judgments are being let go, and they're really recognizing you for it. They're like, yeah, look at you go. You're like shedding. You're really good at this. It's almost like you've been here before, doing this same thing before. Okay, so, and they also say, honor your soul's purpose. This is part of your purpose here on Earth, you know. Yeah. And it's been driven by something, right? It's been divinely guided. You haven't been alone this whole time. Just, you've been learning the things that you meant to learn. Okay. Beautiful. Really nice. All right, let's see what Spirit's advice is for you. Oh, wow. Love it. This card's been coming out, and I just feel like this, you know, who you are, whoever is watching this is just like like me, a divinely guided soul who's willing to put things down of an egoic nature in order to fulfill the greater good for all and God's will. And it's really nice. And you are guided for doing so, and there'll still be some mystery. You can't know everything. This is what he said. This is what they're saying. You cannot know everything. There are going to be surprises. Oh, more growth mindset. So keep that growth mindset. They recognized you as learning the growth mindset, and they're really encouraging you to keep that. So growth mindset just means that when something goes wrong, the growth mindset says, this is helping me grow. What am I learning from this? There's no shame, blame, you know, there's no narcissism basically in growth mindset. It means we're just growing and learning. And as long as we know that, then we can't do anything wrong. We can't go wrong. We can't get it wrong. And we can't fall into victimhood and lack and give up trying. So your foundation, your core, pay attention to your home, your core, your foundation. If you're traveling right now, that might be something where they're saying like you do need a core and a home and a foundation. So make sure that is something that you focus on. So maybe it's like secure, batten down the hatches, secure your place, like something like that. Maybe maybe tracing back some of the patterns into your childhood home and the core of who you are to see, you know, why they're there, where they're from, and what needs to be let go next in the realm of emotional healing. Scorpio, digging below the surface. Scorpio is also an expert at surrender. Scorpio has to learn to surrender because they're tied to all the darkness. They're aware of it. They're there seeing it. And there are definitely darknesses that we can't change, so we learn to surrender. And we learn to surrender that like self-doubt and beating ourselves up and trying to fit in with the Joneses and all that stuff. And look, you got 1111, which is it's significant for the twin flame journey, you know, these two pillars of twins, and also just an awakening code. So you've been guided the whole time for many years. Okay. Well, that was exciting. I hope that you found it helpful in some way. Yay for all the great work that you're doing here on Earth. So honored to have a chance to look at you and your energy, to feel all that niceness. It kind of makes me a little high, to be honest. And so maybe I'll see you next time. I hope so.